Hello everybody, it's Derek Freeze, and here is a Fetters window air conditioner. You might think this is a 7 or 8,000 BTU unit, as it is the same form factor as those, but this thing is a 10, which is really strange. I've never seen one in this form factor that's a 10. Eventually, if I can, I'll take one of my 5K Fetters units out and compare it to this, either my Climatrol or my Air Temp, and just kind of compare them, but it's definitely a bit different. I do have the grill for this. I'll show it to you quickly. I already ran this through the dishwashing machine 3 times already, hoping that should clean it up. It's missing the slide out filter, and some of the vents are a bit broken. But it looks like this. Thankfully it has the control door, unlike my 12,000. And surprised this isn't. If this would have used the same chassis as the 12, this should probably be way more efficient. This thing pulls 10 amps when running, which is kind of crazy. But I guess so if it's this form factor. I believe it has, for a compressor, it has I think it's a Rotor X. I'm unsure on the fan motor. It's a lousy garbage fan motor, so I'm expecting shot fan motor bearings, which is a common problem with this motor. So we'll turn it on low fan. And this unit was discarded because it did not work. At least that's what I was told from the person. I wouldn't be surprised because of what's on the coil. This coil cannot breathe at all. It looks awful. I'll get a closer look at that. And I just wanted to make sure. I was going to clean it and then make the video, but I decided it'd probably be better to make a video before, just showing how nasty this is. This might be, as of right now, one of the nastiest air conditioners I've ever gotten. It's been a while since I got a real nasty air conditioner like this. I don't know what this wing nut's for. Oh, I actually got it in the hardware bin. So there's low. Thermostat's off. Here's medium. And then high. On high speed, we're drawing 1.4 amps. On the medium speed, we're drawing 1.3, and on the low, we're drawing 1.1 amps. If you can even see that, 1.17 to be exact. 133 watts, and a power factor of 0.94. So I'm going to guess it's PSC. We'll see how many watts we're doing on high. On high speed, we're doing 164. So this thing is pretty power hungry. The person that had this unit suspected that the thermostat was bad, but I think it just kept freezing up because these coils are awful. The airflow coming out of it, there's barely anything. I'm getting a bit out the center. So I'm just going to hope that the temperature probe actually picks up something. The inrush on this unit coming in was just outrageous. It was actually so bad that the meter, I think, went into a bit of the overload state, but we're drawing about 570 watts. I wish I could have gotten the amperage of that. We're sitting at about 6.8 amps. So that's pretty good. The amps are falling as of right now, but I have a feeling it will go up if once it builds head pressure. This compressor is insanely quiet, though. I've had other units with RotorX compressors, and they seem to be a bit loud, like they're noticeable, but this one is almost inaudible. Maybe the fan on this unit's a bit noisier. Maybe it's all just air restriction noise, the reason why I can't hear it, but I'm able to talk over this unit without raising my voice. On high fan, I'm getting I'm pulling 7.15 amps, 637 watts, and a power factor of 0.75. So when the compressor runs, the power factor goes down a bit more. I just realized the camera can't even see the multimeter, and I'm sorry that there's a glare on the kilowatts meter. It's kind of hard to get that to sit right in the videos where there's no glare. Trust me, I'm trying my best. It feels cool. Go back down to the low cool. And this is awful. This must have been running for quite some time without a filter. Just get some of this off and you just see. That's just disgusting. I do love the control panel on this. This wasn't a smoker's house, so I gotta check to see if it has smoker smell. Not really, at least not that I can smell right now, but it is allergy season for me, and once allergy season comes, I can't really smell. We have heat coming off the back. Put the fan up to high again and see how our airflow is. Yeah, that's pretty bad. The stupid vent feature works. It's just there's stuff all over this, all this stupid gunk. So I'm gonna try to go over this with the vacuum cleaner, whatever cleaners I have. It's gonna be a whole ordeal to get this one cleaned. If I had the money, I'd go out and buy coil cleaner, but I just don't have any money right now, or really a good way to get coil cleaner. So this thing probably won't get like the cleanest. I'm gonna let it run for a little bit and we'll check in on it because I need to go do something. Here out the back of this unit feels way colder. Starting to see some frost right here in the coils. I'm curious how thick this coil is. I think it's gonna be at least 3 or 4 layers thick, so it's gonna be pretty substantial. And right now we're drawing 9.1 amps, so it's almost near its allowance, and that most likely means that it's built head pressure, and the compressor sounds a lot louder now too. So I'm gonna guess it just finally built and it tripped the circuit. Well, I'm gonna put this unit on a different circuit and we will try again. We've returned, waited for the unit to sit for a couple minutes, and we will try this again. I saw an inrush of 16 amps. I already hear that refrigerant flowing, so that's pretty cool, but wow, that was quite the inrush. I have a feeling once this gets cleaned, it should hopefully run a lot more efficiently. It's definitely a unit I won't use out here in the garage just due to how powerful it is. This is very... I think this unit here actually draws a bit more than Montgomery Ward does. Montgomery Ward's also rated for 10 amps, but it doesn't seem to eat the power as crazy as this. Maybe I'll actually put the kilowatts on the Montgomery Ward at some point in time and actually see how much that draws. Maybe once I take it out of the window, which I don't know if that's going to be this year or next year or whenever. but I don't know. We're hovering around 9.3 amps. So I'm gonna hope this doesn't trip the main breaker. It's on a 20 amp breaker right now, and I don't have any other refrigeration systems running alongside it. I always like to use my 10 amp breaker just to be cautious. 10 amp mini breakers always, I always like that because it's pretty easy to find something if there is like some sort of like issue, or if it's drawing a bit much. I'm seeing it's a bit much for that 10 amp mini breaker, so putting it on a full on 20 amps is going to be a bit more easier. We're almost at 10 amps. Yep, just rolled over to 10 amps. We're blowing 48 degrees Fahrenheit. I wonder if I up the fan, if anything will improve. Cord isn't hot, so that's fine. This is I think this is a 25 amp extension cord, so it doesn't really get hot. Here's some, and it's satisfied. I guess I'll pull the camera off and get a bit of a closer look at this now that it's satisfied. The size of the case of this is very similar to the normal model, so I should lower the fan speed back down. I just hope it doesn't short cycle. Put on fan only to prevent that. Here's the Rotorex compressor. Made in the USA. I don't know if I can find like any more of the information. You can kind of see right there where it says Rotorex. I kind of understand why people don't like these, because these compressors normally aren't smooth. This one's actually pretty smooth, but most of the time these ones, they always kind of shake a bit. They're pretty inefficient. Like, this thing draws 10 amps. Here's the back. It has the blue Fetters label. I do remember seeing this unit installed. I think the first time I noticed it was about 6 or so years ago. The house that had this also had a GE carry coil, and that was, as a kid, was the first time I ever seen a GE carry coil before. Has the more flatter looking fan blades on it. I love the look of these units from the back. I saw these all over the place as a kid. There's still a few around, but not as many. I have more fond memories of seeing the ones with like the red and gold tag on the back. There is a Chinese restaurant, and the building next to it had one of these upstairs, and it's actually still there to this day. I've never seen it run before. And then the actual Chinese restaurant itself, the apartment above, had one of these, a larger version. I think it's slide-out chassis that was up there, and there was also a 2000s 8K Fetters that was on the side, one of the ones that had the plastic mesh on the back, similar to the one that the Jordan U has. Actually, I think it was the same exact unit at the one that the Jordan U has. Get a look at the data plate. can't remember where I found it, but I saw somewhere on this unit, and it was saying that it was made in Canada. Fire up this rotor X, and I'll probably end the video. Take back what I said about these compressors being smooth. This thing really does shake. Sounds good though. I really like the sound of this one. Like once this one builds head pressure, it gets pretty quiet. "46 degrees, 10 amps. I hope that once this gets clean, the amps go down. I don't want this to draw that much amps. This unit I probably won't be keeping because of that, but it is a good thing to think about. Hopefully tomorrow I'll get this one taken apart and get it cleaned up. I don't know. I might have to wait for the super thrust and for that whole ordeal to finish, but I would like to get this going at some point. This is why you need filters on your air conditioners. This is what happens when no one uses their filter. It's really hot coming out the back now. Fetters. $11 amps. So it's already an amp over its allowance. I can't blame it. It's just things in labor right now. The compressor doesn't sound as quiet as it did earlier, and then it's satisfied. So, yeah. I don't know if the thermostat adjustment on this is not very good, like how it was on the Siesta 2 or whatever. Or maybe it's just because of all the blockage, or maybe the compressor just goes into overload because it just gets so, like, overwhelmed with this. Don't hear much of a refrigerant flow. Do not operate with grill removed. Oops! So, thank you very much for watching, and keep the breeze.